The fake badge flashed just as his hand cracked across my wife's cheek, loud enough the slap echoed off our garage walls like a gunshot. Celeste staggered back, red handprint blooming on her skin, and reached for her phone, only to have this psycho smack it from her grip, the screen spiderwebbing on the concrete with a sick, brittle crunch. He wasn't finished, not even close. Rutherford Blackstone, this self-declared HOA cop in his Halloween store uniform, kicked over our backyard memorial, stomped right through the roses, and scattered photos of my fallen SEAL brothers like they were trash. The air heavy with diesel from his fake police truck mixed with the scent of crushed flowers, and the sound of my pregnant wife crying on her knees in the dirt, clutching pieces of her shattered phone. And I Staff Sergeant Jake Morrison, Navy SEAL Team 6, sat 8,000 miles away, deployed somewhere I'm not allowed to say, watching a security feed as my family got terrorized by some tin pot wannabe. He had no clue what was coming for him. Let me pull you back 3 weeks before that slap everyone in Pinewood Estates heard about. I'd bought our house with a VA loan hoping for peace. Pinewood Estates, Colorado, 40% military families, most either active duty or retired. Kids on bikes, moms trading casseroles, flags on every other porch. Celeste kept our world spinning part-time at the vet clinic, but her real work was our backyard memorial. 3 wooden crosses for Marcus, Tommy, and Rivera. SEAL teammates, each one lost far from home. She planted roses from their hometowns, changed the flag every morning. Neighbors respected that garden, left flowers every Memorial Day, until Blackstone decided it was some kind of threat. Picture this, a 52-year-old failed cop, belly, straining his tactical vest, strutting around in a Walmart badge, lights on his truck blinking for effect. Declared himself compliance director, no board approval, no authority, just sour grapes. Truth was, he resented us, resented everything about the military families he couldn't be a part of. So he targeted us always while the husbands were gone. Vulnerable women, kids home alone, easy targets, at least in his mind. His first move, a neon yellow violation notice glued to our door, $500 for unauthorized landscaping. Supposedly the garden created insurance liability. The letter sounded official, demanded immediate compliance. Celeste spent that night combing through the HOA bylaws, steam rising off her coffee sprinklers, sweeping across the roses. Nothing in the rules about memorials. She called me, her voice trembling. Not scared, just mad. He wants to rip out the boys' crosses, Jake. Says the HOA demands it. I told her to document everything, pay nothing, and I'd try for emergency leave, but Blackstone wasn't wasting time. Next morning he came back, brought Ned Crenshaw, another rent-a-cop failure, and fake tactical gear, parked right in our driveway. "Ma'am, you have 24 hours to remove this unauthorized memorial," Blackstone barked, puffing out his chest. Celeste just held on to the garden hose, stared him down. "Show me the meeting minutes. Show me your real badge." And that's where he stepped over our property line chest. Out badge, shining. "We don't need permission, lady. We run this whole community." Celeste pulled her phone, started recording. "Then you won't mind if I call the actual police?" Blackstone's face went red as a tomato. His backup fidgeted with what looked like a TV remote duct taped to his belt. They were used to scaring people, used to wives who didn't know their rights. Not this one. "Put that phone away or you'll be charged with interfering," he threatened. American flag snapping behind her, roses swaying in the Colorado breeze. Normal life teetering while 2 frauds circled thinking they'd found easy prey. Only they'd picked the wrong house. 3 days later, Blackstone returned with reinforcements, a full clown parade. Ned clutching his taser, a new recruit still sporting a mall security name tag, and a teenager with a walkie-talkie yelling, "Copy that into the void." They marched up, tried to serve a warrant. Celeste, 7 months pregnant, stood taller than any of them. "Show me the warrant." Blackstone held up something he printed at home. "This is official HOA business. Comply or face arrest." Celeste just kept filming. "Good, since it's official, I'll need video for my lawyer." Blackstone's left eye twitched. His squad started sweating like it was Navy Hell Week. But Celeste wasn't done. "Funny thing, I already called the county sheriff. Real deputies should be here soon." Blackstone turned purple. Their scam depended on being the only ones with a badge. Real police meant game over. Then the siren cut the morning. Deputy Riley stepped out, real uniform, real badge, years of law behind her eyes. She took one look at Blackstone's costume shop getup and said, "Let's see your peace officer certification." "We're HOA compliance," he insisted. "So why the police uniforms?" she asked, running his ID. "Not licensed, not officers, and no authority for detentions." But he was technically the compliance director. That's when Blackstone smirked. "Full authority for violations." Riley sighed. "Technically, this is civil. But threats of arrest crossed the line into harassment." Blackstone laughed. "Harassment. I'm enforcing rules." After Riley left, Celeste's video hit Facebook like a grenade. By nightfall, military wives from across the neighborhood were sharing their stories. Fake violations during deployments. Threats, intimidation, pattern after pattern. By morning, Celeste had built an army wives, sharing legal resources, collecting evidence, linking every single abuse together. Blackstone didn't know he'd made his worst mistake, uniting the very people he wanted to break. But he doubled down. Bogus fines piled up: $400 for a trip hazard, $300 for insurance, $500 for aesthetics. The final letter threatened a lien and foreclosure if she didn't pay. The morning she read that, her coffee went cold. That was the moment we both realized this wasn't just about flowers. This was about power, about breaking the ones least able to fight back. Celeste found his weakness. Turns out real HOA enforcement requires board votes and state licensing, neither of which Blackstone had. She called an emergency meeting, and the whole neighborhood turned out: 10 military wives, 15 kids, 2 retired colonels, a gold star, mom, all packed into the hall, faces tight with anger and hope. Celeste laid it all out. $8,000 in fines, all to military families. Not a single non-military violation. Why? Blackstone jumped up, spitting fire. No special treatment for the military. Celeste demanded proof of the bylaw. Board President Harold Whimsy blanched. "Well, Rutherford's family. He's my brother-in-law." That confession hit the room like a stun grenade. Nepotism, corruption, everything rotten all at once. Colonel Patterson, Marine through and through, stood up. "That's not a vote, Harold. That's not even a discussion. You just handed out power because he's family." The room exploded. Military families shouting, Blackstone's backers mumbling about declining property values and special treatment. That night it was clear Blackstone's power wasn't real, and now everyone knew. But the harassment ramped up. 6 a.m., door-pounding, wellness checks, noise complaints, all fabricated. He started mentioning my deployment, dropping hints about classified locations. It was psychological warfare. "Your husband's not here, Mrs. Morrison. I can do whatever I want." The threats, the fake fines, the intimidation every day. Celeste, though she got smarter. Security cameras, legal files, everything documented. Then Mrs. Riley, our elderly neighbor, handed Celeste a manila envelope. "He made me sign these," she whispered, hands shaking. Inside, blank complaints, signatures forged. Not just harassment anymore, but real crimes. That's when Celeste found the surveillance cameras Blackstone hid in fake traffic cones. He'd been spying on us, recording our private lives. But here's the twist. She started feeding him false info. "He doesn't know I found it, Jake. I can control what he thinks." She staged a call. "Jake's coming home. Emergency leave tomorrow." The trap was set. That night she uncovered everything: audio of Blackstone and Whimsy plotting to force out military families, drive down home values, sell cheap to Whimsy's development company. It wasn't just Pinewood Estates. Blackstone had run the same scam in other communities, targeting widows, single moms, the elderly. Audio files, bank transfers, bribes enough to sink them all. Colonel Patterson called his contacts: federal statutes, RICO, civil rights violations, mail fraud. Every fake fine another federal charge. Celeste's network, wives, veterans, even civilian neighbors documented everything, turned their fear into action. We staged phone calls, let Blackstone think we were cracking. Angela Martinez, the local reporter, had her story ready to drop. The final scene was set: the Saturday night emergency HOA meeting. Blackstone swaggered in with his fake SWAT crew, Ned Martinez, the teenager, all sweating bullets. "Tonight we addressed the criminal element threatening our community," Blackstone declared, cameras rolling, the whole town watching. Celeste sat front row acting the part of the defeated wife. Colonel Patterson stood up. "What federal agency, son? Federal Housing Security Act enforcement." Blackstone bluffed. Patterson just shook his head. "Never heard of it." Then I stepped in, still in my uniform, just off the plane. "Staff Sergeant Jake Morrison, Navy SEAL Team 6. Show me your federal credentials." Blackstone went pale. His deputies looked for exits. Celeste walked to the projector, plugged in the USB, and let the whole room hear Blackstone's voice plotting to ruin us to drive out the military to cash in. Gasps. Yelling. Harold Whimsy tried to run too late. Real federal agents stepped out, badges flashing, handcuffs gleaming. "Mr. Blackstone, you're under arrest for conspiracy, fraud, racketeering, civil rights violations." His deputies scattered. Ned tackled, trying to crawl out a bathroom window. Martinez surrendered the teen, sobbing for his mom. The crowd roared. "Thank you for your service," someone yelled, and the chant caught fire. Justice, real, tangible, undeniable, right there in our little hall. Blackstone got 7 years. Whimsy got 5, lost his business, his money, everything. Ned and Martinez, jail time, probation. The neighborhood changed overnight. Colonel Patterson, new HOA president, wrote in protections for military families permanent. Memorial Garden rebuilt bigger and better by volunteers from all over town. Celeste had our daughter Emma safe, loved, protected by a community that finally stood up. Our proudest moment, Celeste's Operation Safe Harbor, protecting hundreds of military families from HOA bullies, predatory scams, organized harassment, free legal aid training, security systems, real support, not just talk. So what's the lesson? Real power isn't a badge, it's what you do when someone needs defending. Community isn't about rules. It's about standing up for each other, especially when the system fails. And if you ever think you're too small to fight back, remember all it takes is one person refusing to back down. Let me ask you, where do you draw the line? When does standing up become the only real choice? Ever seen someone abuse fake power and get what they deserve? Drop your thoughts, your own HOA nightmare, or your idea of justice in the comments. Don't just watch, be part of the fight. Together we make neighborhoods safe for heroes, for families, for everyone brave enough to say enough. Because justice isn't automatic. But with a little backbone and a lot of heart, it damn sure happens.